Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to share some timelines with you guys that I put together today as I did my message yesterday, sharing about the conjunction on June 4th and 5th between the 70th anniversary of the 70th Feast of Weeks, or the 70th Pentecost since the rebirth of Israel, and the 50-year anniversary of the Six-Day War, and these two dates coming together, having the anniversary of June 4th and 5th being the 70th and the 50th anniversaries together. Okay, and I'll leave that video at the end of this blog document. What I'm going to do right now is I thought this would be a good time to bring together to you guys some timelines, just some complete timelines that kind of show from start to finish how we can walk everything through and understand. And so what I want to do right now is suggest to you that you open up my blog document. Okay, I don't have a program on this computer that allows me to do this while I'm speaking here and have on the screen the the screen flow. I don't have screen flow on this. So the best way to do this right now is to walk you through the blog document. You'll have the video on the top, and then you can scroll down as I walk you through everything. You can listen and watch everything that I'm explaining. And so I'll leave that link here in the description box. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to walk you through some timelines, and I titled this "Complete and Easy to Understand Timelines: A Trumpet for My People with Video Explanation." So okay, real quick here. I don't want to be too long. I like trying to do my best to keep the videos as short as I can, and it brings more people in to see the videos if it doesn't take too long to explain out. Okay, so real quickly, I just did some photo shots. I made some photos and I put this together. Hopefully this will be easy to understand and follow. Okay, so the first timeline is the creation timeline. From creation to 2017, how can we understand that? It's understood by the 120 Jubilee years, as it says in Genesis 6:3, "And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever. His days shall be 120 years." Okay, and this is referring to the Jubilee years. It's not a generation, because a generation is defined in Psalms as 70 or 80 years. So 120 years times 50 is 6,000. That brings us to 2017. Now, if we look at the biblical Jubilee chronology from creation, we see that there were 40 Jubilees to the birth of Abraham. From creation, there were another 10 Jubilees, 500 years from Abraham to the Exodus. Then we have another 500 years, another 10 Jubilees from the Exodus to the complete temple. Another 10 Jubilees to the decree to restore Jerusalem in the time of Artaxerxes and Nehemiah. And then it takes us 500 more years to the 80th Jubilee, and that was the first coming of Jesus Christ. Okay, and then from there have been 40 Jubilees. It's bringing us now to the end of the final Jubilees, 2,000 years, 40 Jubilees. And as this timeline shows, the reign of Christ will begin in the Jubilee year. Okay. Next, I have a quick overview of the final generation. It's the fig tree. It's Daniel's 70 weeks to the second coming. Okay, so we see that in 1978 and 1947 and 1948, plus 70 years, brings us to 2017 to 2018, okay? And Daniel said in his book that from the order to restore Jerusalem, there will be 70 weeks. 70 weeks. So what we have then is 70 weeks or 70 years. In my video yesterday, I suggest everybody watch that. It really shows the importance of this upcoming Pentecost. It might be the final marker we are looking for that will begin the Great Tribulation. And but I explained in that video how we can know the difference of the first coming, the prophecy of Daniel to the first coming, and the prophecy of Daniel to the second coming. And the difference is that the word weeks that Daniel used, 70 weeks are determined, is a dual meaning because at the first coming, 70 weeks was 1 week was 7 years. So it was 70 times 7, 490 years. But at the second coming, 70 weeks means 70 years, okay? And we have this confirmed by the fig tree generation, that from the order to restore Jerusalem, that generation will not pass. It cannot be another 490 years. So we have this simple timeline here. The final generation is the fig tree. It's 70 weeks to the second coming, and it's confirmed in Daniel 9:24 and 25. That says 70 weeks are determined from the order to restore Jerusalem. And Matthew 24:32 through 35, the parable of the fig tree, says that when you see the budding of the fig tree, this generation will not pass. So this is leading us from the rebirth of Israel. The timelines lead us now to 2017 and to 2018 as the fulfillment. That final year, 70 years from 1947, 70 years from 1948, 2017 to 2018 is the final year of the 70-year prophecy. Okay. Then we are getting more than into the abomination of desolation timelines. We have the 7-year covenant of many, and this can be understood from the prophecy of Daniel. This is all connected to the prophecy of Daniel, the 70 weeks. If you look at Daniel 9:24 through 27, okay, in Daniel 9:24 it says 70 weeks are determined. Verse 25 says from the order to restore Jerusalem. Then in verse 26 it says after 62 weeks, okay, and then in verse 27 he will fulfill a covenant with many for 1 week or 7 years. So the timelines lead us. Daniel shows us that from the order to restore Jerusalem, after 62 years, there will be a covenant with many for 1 week or for 7 years. So we had a covenant in 2009. Which is 1947 plus 62 is 2009 plus 7 is 2016. That brought us to the beginning of our final year, 2016 to 2017. We're in this final year, and it's a 7-year covenant with many, confirmed by the covenant, which was the Nobel Peace Prize, and then confirmed by the visit to Israel exactly 1,260 days after the Nobel Peace Prize. And so this was the midweek abomination. Okay, now I'm breaking down. Now the next timeline breaks down, and we're getting more and more detailed as we go, okay? This is more and more detailed as we go, and we're coming now to our final understandings, and it builds one upon another, and it just becomes clearer and clearer as we go where we are in the timeline. Okay, and a lot of these things we were not able to know a few years ago or even a few months ago, because what we have is we're watching the fulfillments, and with the correct understanding of the order to restore Jerusalem, then from there we can break down the timelines and see the events unfold based on the timelines of Daniel. So the next timeline I have here is the abomination timeline. It's the 7-year covenant with many, okay, which started on the October 9th of 2009. I've got 5 different pictures here, okay? The first picture is the Nobel Peace Prize, October 9th, 2009. Then we add 1,260 days to that, and it comes to March 22nd, 2013. That was Nissan 11. That was the abomination when Obama was in Israel and signed an agreement with Israel, the unbreakable alliance. Then we see now that he has broken the covenant because he divided Israel. He cast the decisive vote to divide Jerusalem. So the unbreakable alliance, here's an agreement with Israel, and he broke the covenant, okay? So these are prophetic fulfillments that have taken place within the timelines. So we have the abomination then, March 22nd, 2013. Another amazing fulfillment was that 1,290 days later, as it says in Daniel 12, 11, and 12, it says that there will be 1,290 days from the abomination. Well, what happened? 1,290 days. He was already in Israel halfway through the 7 years. What happened then? Was there another confirmation 1,290 days later? Yes, he was in Israel again. This time for the funeral of Shimon Peres. And so he was in the Israel again with 70 world leaders. Remember that in January in France, there were 70 world leaders that came together to talk about the fate of Israel. But once again, in September, which was the weekend of the Feast of Trumpets, he was in Israel again for the funeral of Shimon Peres. Okay, so that was the 1,290th day. Then we add 45 days to that, and we have a double fulfillment here as a sign for everybody to follow. Okay, 45 days, which brings us to day 1,335, was November 16th, 2016, and November 17th. What happened on November 16th? Well, first thing we saw was that Barack Obama was in Berlin. Okay, he went to Berlin. That is where the throne of Satan resides. So the end of the timeline brought us to the Antichrist at the seat of Satan in Berlin at the Pergamus altar of Zeus, which is where that throne is. It's in Berlin. That's the power of the Antichrist that was received by Hitler and that he used there at the Brandenburg Gate, and the museum of the altar of Zeus is in Berlin. Okay. What else happened on November 16th and 17th? Well, Jupiter was just entering Virgo. The Revelation 12 sign started as Jupiter entered Virgo on November 17th. So we have this amazing confirmation that we have the birthing process of the Antichrist. At the end of the sign, it's, the second coming and the return of the Messiah. But Jupiter in Virgo is a sign of the Antichrist, and it's a sign of the final birthing process. And when will the Great Tribulation begin? And this has been the uptick since the middle of November. As Jupiter entered Virgo, then the birth pains have increased. They've steadily increased. And so we have this confirmation that the Antichrist is at the seat of Satan while Jupiter is entering Virgo on the same day. Okay, that's a double confirmation. The text there to follow this timeline is right there, Daniel 9:24 and through 27, and Daniel 12:11 and 12. Okay, then we have the timeline of the Okay, so what we're seeing now then is that the Revelation 12 sign began as the timeline of Daniel brought us to the day 1335, November 16th. That was the day the Revelation 12 sign began. So we have this continuation. And that will take us through September 23rd, 2017, which is the Feast of Trumpets. And then we have the Day of Atonement, and we're in the Jubilee year. So this is looking up to the sounding of the trumpet of Jubilee on the Day of Atonement. And the sign is from November 17th, 2016 to September 23rd, 2017. Now, I said that the birth pangs have increased since November. What has happened? What has happened since? Okay, and this is just off the top of my head. I don't have a list here of things, but after the sign happened, then we had November 30th was the vote in the General Assembly of the United Nations to divide Jerusalem. That was November 30th. Then December 23rd was the vote in the Security Council, the United Nations Security Council, to divide Jerusalem. In one of the votes, it was 153 to 7. Okay, 153 or to 7 or to 11, or I can't remember. But I know that one of the votes was 153. So anyway, what we end up having then, and that's the biblical number of the fish caught in the net. Okay, and that's the snare. You know, the nations that vote against Israel, they're going to be caught in the snare that is coming upon the world, and that's the net. It's the fish caught in the net. Okay, anyway, December 23rd now to September 23rd is 9 months to the day from the division of Jerusalem. So we've got, this is another confirmation of this birthing process of the Revelation 12 sign. Then we go and we move into January. We have Obama gave his goodbye speech on January 10th. January 15th, all the world leaders were in France, 70 nations, to discuss the future of Israel. January 20th was the inauguration of Donald Trump, and then all the confirmations there about the number 7 in the year 5777 and the last Trump and Trumpets. The 7 trumpets, and it's just there's so many. And now we're moving into the 77 days into Trump's presidency. The bombing of Syria, 59 missiles that were sent into Syria. Okay, and now we've got the buildup. This is all building up. These are birth pangs. Okay, and so what we're coming to the time that everything will break forth, the Great Tribulation will begin, and the rapture of the church. Okay, and we're watching the signs that are happening right now. And I know that many people look at the Revelation 12 sign and they say, well, nothing's going to happen until September. Well, what we have to see is we've got the buildup. Okay, for someone to just say we shouldn't worry about anything between now and September. I mean, what about all these things that are happening? This is the buildup. This is the anticipation. This is the birth pangs. And no one knows the day and the hour, right, that the birth is going to happen. I mean, it just could, that baby's going to burst forth. And we need to be ready, and the signs are showing that we may be right now on top of this. So at any day, right? So we're watching that. We're not just naively saying nothing's going to happen until September. That is naive, okay? Because the sign started in November, and now all these things have happened. So this is a timeline that shows us the Revelation 12 sign. And then this last timeline, and I'm going to end with this. I don't want to be too long, but I want to show you how the two most major fulfillments in modern Israel, in the modern state of Israel, are leading us, or it is an amazing conjunction of anniversaries from the birth of Israel and the Six-Day War, leading us to Pentecost of 2017. Okay, and I have the title of this part of the timeline, The Precision of Daniel's Prophecy. The closer we get, the clearer it becomes. Excuse me. The precision of Daniel's prophecy, the closer we get, the clearer it becomes. Okay. These two prophetic fulfillments are the most important moments in the modern state of Israel. We have the rebirth of Israel, which marked the order in 1947 and the entrance into Israel in 1948. And then we have the Six-Day War, which began June 5th, 1967. So what do we have then on the June 4th and 5th of 2017? We have the 50 and 70 year anniversaries conjoined together from the two most important prophetic fulfillments in the modern state of Israel. Their 50 and 70 year anniversaries come together on June 4th and 5th. This is the 70th Feast of Weeks, the 70th Shavuot. Daniel 9:24 says 70 weeks or Shavuots are determined from the order to restore Jerusalem. They celebrated their first Shavuot, their first Pentecost, back in Israel after 2,000 years almost, or 1,878 years, or whatever it was, from the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. The first Pentecost that was celebrated was 1948. And they were in Israel. They returned to Israel in May of 1948. So they were in Israel. The first Pentecost in the modern state of Israel was 1948. Okay, so we go 70 Feast of Weeks, 1948, the 70th Feast of Weeks, the 70th Pentecost is 2017. Okay, and the date of Pentecost is June 4th. June 4th, 2017. It is the 70th Feast of Weeks from the rebirth of Israel. Then we also have the anniversary of the Six-Day War, which began June 5th, 1967, and 50 years to the day from the Six-Day War, which is the Jubilee. Okay, it marked the Jubilee of the liberation of Jerusalem. It marked the Jubilee. 1967 was the Jubilee year. That date was the date of their liberation because that was the beginning of the war. It only lasted 6 days, so we were still even just that week, right? But June 5th marked the day, and 50 years to the day is June 5th, 2017. So we have on June 4th and June 5th, we have this conjunction of the 70th anniversary of the Feast of Weeks from the rebirth of Israel and the 50-year anniversary from the Six-Day War, and it's Pentecost. Okay, Pentecost. And so these are what I shared with you, and I'll leave this video here at the end of this document so you can go ahead and watch that if you haven't, is that it seems quite possible that this Pentecost is the time that the Great Tribulation will begin, based on the end of the barley harvest, the beginning of the wheat harvest. The rapture will be the barley harvest will be coming in. The wheat harvest will begin, which is the Great Tribulation. The overcomers, those who walked according to the commandments of Jesus Christ, those who live their victorious Christian life. Really, I think Pentecost will mark that based on living a life full of the Holy Spirit, waiting in Jerusalem until you have received power from on high, being led by the Holy Spirit. It says, those who are led of the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. So there's a difference, okay? Not all confessing believers are going to go in the rapture. We have a difference between the barley believers and the wheat believers. And so we have this Pentecost conjunction that may mark then the beginning of the barley harvest, the end of the barley harvest, which is the rapture, the beginning of the wheat harvest, which is the great tribulation, and then at the second coming in the fall will be the grape harvest, and that will be the judgment on the unbelievers. So this is a real quick overview of the timelines that I put together for you. I hope this helps. If there's anything else you guys need to understand or did not understand, or like a timeline on something else, please let me know. I can see what I can do to put this together to help bring clarity from my perspective, okay? So I pray you guys are all blessed. Have a great afternoon.